Welcome to the second episode of the Fiberreed Podcast. Today we will be talking with Professor Rodrigo Pires de Lima about his collaboration with Harry Hartman. Together they designed and created the first Artist Series Fiberreed, the RPL model.
Well, welcome, Rodrigo. Rodrigo Pires de Lima. Is that how you say your name?
Yes, it's fine.
Wonderful. Very nice to meet you and have you on the Fiberreed Podcast. This is our second episode. And so you have a very special position here, being the second person to be interviewed by Fiberreed. And you have a new reed that has been made in your name, a custom reed that Harry made for you. So this is very exciting for all of us. You know, I help Harry with the Fiberreed business here in the United States, and he's told me very much about the music scene in Portugal too, and how vibrant and everything is. So I want to touch on that a little bit later too. I guess my first question was just going to be a little bit, if you can tell us a little bit about your background in music, how you came to be a musician and your love for music, where that comes from and so on.
Yeah. So, I was born in Porto, the city in the north, and I moved to a little village, and soccer is really popular here in the country. And I went to a small village, and they have two wind bands. Actually, in Portugal, we have 700 wind bands. So it's a small country with a lot of music. And they are playing soccer, and the kids were, one team was for one band, and the other team played for the other band. And I want to play, so I need to pick a band to be able to play soccer. So I just chose one that was near my home, and I started playing clarinet. This was like 30 years ago, 30-ish. And after I changed for saxophone, I changed the instrument, and I fell in love for the instrument. And yes, after that, I went to the conservatory, and I went to Lisbon to do my degree. I have 2 masters. I went to France. I went to France to do a specialization in 21st century music. I went to the United States to do my doctoral degree in Minneapolis. And here I am with you.
Wow, yes. That's a lot of,
what a trip.
Studying, a lot of degrees, 2 masters and a PhD.
That's the master in the pedagogy and the master in the performance.
Mostly, and you're pretty much mostly a classical a musician playing classical music. Sometimes I don't like to take people.
Classical for me is like a dangerous word. If a saxophone player call himself a classical musician, he's lying. We are not classic. We didn't cross the classic period at all. So no, I play music from the repertory. I have a trio that we play improvisation, non-idiomatic, though is the kind of improvisation I like the most.
Okay.
No, I teach in the Superior School of Music. I teach saxophone and improvisation, non-idiomatic. Of course, it's really hard to say I'm a non-idiomatic person because of my idiosyncrasies, just the person I am, what I listen. I love John Zorn, I love Josh Redman, I love Parker, I love Led Zeppelin. So everything is kind of a Rage Against the Machine. So these kind of things make you the musician you are. So when I write a piece, or when I play, I do improvisation. Well, I don't have it's non-idiomatic because I'm not playing language, jazz or rock. But this kind of, for me, is easier because I have a lot of jazz friends, great musicians, and they aren't complaining because jazz have a lot of rules, and I think with non-idiomatic, I can cut those rules a little bit. So, so I just play saxophone, and I love.
I like that very much. I mean, I didn't want to peg you as a classical musician because just for that reason. I think in this world today, we do have so many influences. Even if we play mostly jazz or mostly classical or mostly pop or something, there's so many influences that come into play when we play our music and when we write music. Do you write music too?
Yeah, I'm not a composer though, but I love to write. I start doing it in France, 2012. I wrote a piece for sax solo, and I fell in love. It was an exercise though. I wrote half of the piece in 4/42 Hertz of intonation, and the other half in 4/55. So if you play a major third, it's a major third in 55 or 42 or 38. So this took me like, I don't know, 1 week to write and 6 months to play. but
okay.
Yeah, after that I wrote the saxophone quartet. It's published in AVA. It's a really famous publisher in Portugal. I recently wrote a piece for saxophone orchestra, singer, and drums. Just sometimes I'm writing. I actually have 4 pieces commissioned for next year. So I'm not a composer, but I love to write.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's so wonderful when you can listen to your music played by other people.
Right.
It's more than an honor. It's the dream come true.
Yeah, to listen to it, to hear your own music back is a wonderful thing too. Yeah, beautiful. That's you certainly have your plate full of things, and unlike a lot of classical musicians that we've talked to with Fiberreed and so on, and many other musicians, they like the cane reeds, and they're kind of they're kind of cane purists. And but for the saxophone, personally, I play on the Fiberreeds, and we talk to a lot of people who play synthetic reeds. So I'm curious what made that an option for you to play synthetic reeds and not just stick with the cane like so many others.
Actually, it happened in France. Just to cut a little bit, just to go a little bit back. In my doctoral project was the first musical piece for blind people without using hands, using human echolocation to read the score. So you can improvise the chords using mouth clicks. And I started this project. I finished in 2019, but it started in 2012 in France. And when I was doing this research, I was doing the research and studying and practicing saxophone, and the climate in France is really, really dry. And moving around, and this inspiration of this project came from a friend. She's a pianist. She studied with Rodrigo Pires, the classical, well famous Portuguese piano player, superstar, and going with her, testing things, playing, moving all around, and with cane is almost impossible, because I was playing bolero with orchestra, and after I was playing freaky music, and traveling to France, I was playing with my pianist at the time. She was Czech, so I was playing Czech Republic. So with cane, I was like, playing to God, and I don't know what will happen. And I start playing with the synthetic reeds in 2012. So that was when I started, and it wasn't great, but I was kind of the sound was a little bit rubbish though, but
yes.
But the feeling of I was feeling so much in peace that I said to myself, I don't care about sound anymore. I just want to be able to be there and to play.
It's a relief to have that peace of mind of, picking up a reed and actually, being able to count on it, and that it's going to do what you're expecting it to do.
Yeah, exactly. And my kind of sound for classic music, well, for saxophone players from the classical, let's say, way, or the classical approach from the 50s and the 60s, and these big sounds, Sigur Rós, the American Eugene Rousseau, Maxim Mueller, John Edward Kelly, another American, a lot of big sounds, and I love that. Now, I know that people now, some colleagues, they have a different approach, and I respect that. But always in my head, I was searching for that sound, and with those reeds, was really hard to get that sound.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go deep when I'm searching for something, and I was trying different horns, different mouthpieces, and different reeds. And I cannot say that I test all the reeds in the market, but I'm pretty sure I test almost every reed in the market.
Okay.
And, and when I tested Aries reed, he sent me some. I sent him an email. I sent him some samples. I tested the reed. I couldn't play with it, but I love the sound. First time I tried the synthetic, and I love the sound. Like bark and project. I can project the sound of my horn. I was really happy. So I said to him, I love the reed, great sound. I cannot play with it, but I'm ready. And he said, "Oh, so let's do something together." So that was the beginning of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, because
you picked the Fiberreed because you like the sound the best.
Yes.
And I had a similar experience when I tried it. It was, I had tried a few synthetics, and it was the sound to me that was closest to a cane reed. It had the darkness and the especially the buzz that I was missing. There was something in that sort of medium to high range of the tone that really reminded me of the cane. So
exactly the same. It was frustrating because I love Dexter Gordon approach of the horn, the way he plays, the way they, and always when I try, I don't know what is a beautiful sound, but I know what is a good sound. I was reading about that, and you need three things. You need attack, to know how to attack the saxophone, intonation, vibrato. If you have these three things in shape, you're going to have a great sound. And if you put a Dexter Gordon recorder, you're going to say that Dexter Gordon the first second. You can know the attack. Josh Redman, the same thing. James Carter, all these great saxophone players. First, like Billie Holiday. The singers. Exactly. Vibrato is so unique, and the attack.
It's like a voice.
And my inspiration actually is Whitney Houston. It's kind of random, I know. The way she sings, I'm not thinking about the music, it's just the technique. Is the way she sings is so much like she's amazing. And I was listening to these kind of recordings, these different musicians and applying, and wasn't possible with cane and the other synthetic. And in my mind, I thought if I could do something with this reed, maybe we could get there. And Eric proposed that to me, and I was really happy. It took us like 3 years though to do something for the alto though, because in the beginning we started to cook the reed. We cooked the reed, we tried to shape it and cut it, and after almost 2 years we decided to change the material, and we started to do this black and white layers of carbon, and we start to work on different lacquers, different cuts, and and I was so happy with the results. That for me, the sound is better than any reed I ever tried in my life. And it was funny because Harry was here in Lisbon. We are launching the reed, and I have a really close friend, a jazz musician I really admire. He's a beast. It is. This Desiderio Lázaro is going to be happy because I'm saying his name. I'm joking.
Okay. That's awesome.
But try all Harry's reeds, and Harry's not going to be happy though. And he said that my reed was the reed that I liked the best, even for jazz. So I think we got the reed that is like is a reed. It's not a reed for classic or for jazz or for. It's a reed that you can put it. You can use sandpaper on it. You can shape it if it's too strong. If it's too strong, you can trim the tip. If it's too soft, if it's too soft, you can trim the tip. If it's too hard, you can work on the vamp with the sandpaper. And for me, and even for my students, for my studio, is I can sleep at night, because if they're going to buy the reed with hard money, that money they don't have money that they're studying, and I passed those. I passed that, and I know how you feel when you don't have money to buy reeds or eat that week. So so they if they buy a reed and it's not perfect, they can make it the way they want. So this is like a relief. And
that is one of the good things about Fiberreed is that you can work on them. You can shape them and sand them and work them so that they're just right for you.
Yeah, exactly. And more than that, it's just I always say to people that ask me about reed, if it's stable. I said, if you have a crappy sound, it's going to be crappy every day. It's the same every day. I'm playing with the same reed for 3 months almost. So other day the reed was a little bit darkish, the sound, and I just wash it with water, and was this exactly no soap, nothing. It was just water, and I clean it and I put in my horn and let's go.
Yes.
And that's what I want. Just like a flute player or a trumpet, you just put the horn in your mouth and you play.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think.
So in the process of deciding on some reed, on the kind of reed, Fiberreed that you wanted to use, I remember, I believe that the first time Harry told me about working with you, you guys were working on one of the material from the carbon onyx, I think it was, right? It was the all black one, which is very different than what I received now as the final product, which is the black and white carbon layers and with the hollow fiber layers. Well, what were some of the differences that you noticed between, let's say, the materials, between that and I'm sure you must have tried the plain white ones to the natural and the hemp and so on. What were some of the differences that you noticed and that you made you decide to go with the onyx or with the carbon in the end?
I know I'm not a scientist.
No, but I mean,
I know what I'm going to tell you next. It's going to be it's a little bit freakish. The thing is, we try a reed, and the reed was great. And Harry said to me, we need to change the color. Okay, he changed the color, and the reed changed dramatically. I was reading about it. I saw some people saying that, you cannot, the density of the color, and I don't know if it's true. I'm just a musician. And when I put it, and just to make it clear, I have a team with me. I have my colleague that teaches with me. I give to my students, so it's not only my opinion. We try this reed with Van Doren mouthpieces, Selmer mouthpieces, and Russo mouthpieces.
Right.
So it was not just for my piece; was for all the biggest the big brands for the classical saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
and we tried, and after 2 months or 3 months, I felt that the reed was responding a little bit differently, and it was fine. The sound was great. I just played with this reed for 3 years. All my gigs, I'm playing with this reed.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was still the black one, the onyx material.
Yes, I was playing. Not black. Yeah. It was green. Was red. Was yellow. Just tried.
Oh, okay. Harry made different colors. Okay.
Yeah. Was like, I know. I was always waiting for Harry to say to me, "You are too complicated." But I think is passionate like me and like all of us, all the musicians.
He is super passionate and super patient too. I have a lot of respect for him for his patience.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but I had one of the reeds he sent me in the beginning, and they had this black and white, and I tried, and the projection was different. I felt more. I felt it differently when I was playing with it. It was like I felt the pressure. I was loving it, and I call him. I said, "Eric, let's do the same cut, but let's change the material." And we did it. We need like 4 or 5 months just to make the cut perfect. Right. I made like 2 or 3 trips to the factory. Was crazy. I remember once I was in the factory working, and we start like 8 in the morning. We finish at 2 a.m.
Oh God!
I asked Harry, "What time tomorrow we want to start? You want to start?" And he said, "No, it's 2 in the morning. We need to rest. So let's start at 8." He said, "Okay."
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. So but it was really hard work. And the thing is, people, maybe they're going to love it or not, but this reed was made with love, and with care. This is not. We studied the lacquer, the density of the lacquer. We saw the reed on the microscope. Mm-hmm. Because we study the pores, the slap tonguing. This was made with a lot of care. Yeah. Maybe people will love it. Maybe people will hate it. Maybe I don't. I'm not a salesman, but my contribute to this was just make it with passion and with open heart. Not BS. Not saying, "Oh, I'm going to make something." No, it's just something that. We lost. Well, we didn't lost, but we spent a lot of hours and days and years projecting this reed, and we're doing it with open art. No magic tricks. No, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So we are. I'm just waiting to. I'm just waiting to the delivery guy to. Because I'm waiting for Aries reeds are coming in a few minutes, and they're going to send some tenor reeds. We are doing for tenor now and Barry and soprano, and I think it will be great. I'm really happy with this partnership, and I'm really passionate with the brands. I'm sponsor for the Freaking Pro and sponsor for Eugene Rousseau mouthpieces, mm-hmm. And just the same way I bought my saxophone, Fiberreed Pro didn't give me anything. They called me 1 year after to propose me to be a sponsor. And this is the way it should be. You should be in love with it. Doesn't matter the horn you play, but you should be in love with the horn, in love with the reed, in love with the mouthpiece, not thinking about I want my face in a website or whatever. This is disgusting, in my opinion, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously there's people who are in it for the money and the fame and the picture on the advertisement, but the true innovations and really successful things come from that love of just the instrument and looking for the right sound. And obviously that sounds like you and Harry both really put a lot of time into getting just the right sound for you, for your setup, and from your experience, that's your pan out to a lot of other players too. And like you're saying in Portugal, Harry was telling me that you already have a lot of people that are very interested, both all in the jazz and the pop and the classical world, on these reeds that you've designed. I personally actually haven't had a chance to try the alto reed yet, but I'm excited to do that. And then I'm more of a tenor player, and so I definitely want to hear what the tenor reed is like too. And the cut makes such a difference. The way the way that the reed is shaped, how much heart you have, and all the different things. And the material is a huge factor in the sound, I've found, and in the playability of it. So I totally see how that would have been a process of lots of trial and error, and Harry has so much time and experience from that.
Yeah, it was really hard. Sometimes Harry is a bit stubborn. I need to fight with him a little bit, and because I'm as well. I'm not the easy person, but the thing was great because the width of the reed was something that we work a lot. We start to cut alto reeds with a tenor cut. We tried a lot of things because with the width, I felt that the sound was cleaner. But if it's too much, you lose spring on the sound. So and I was trimmed the reeds and I sent it to Harry, just make copies of it. Was a fun nightmare, was the expression I have, because was really hard work, but just the focus was big sound projection. Now I'm practicing. I have a gig tomorrow, and I'm practicing. I'm doing opera with 4 saxes.
Wow!
I'm changing saxophone. It's the new opera about Dali's wife. Anyway, you need to, and for the other horns, I have synthetic. Not I have some prototypes, but not the finals. But for the soprano and the barry, we don't have any prototypes yet. So, but it's a bit different when I changed my horn to the different reed. And it's funny because I have a Russo mouthpiece, a new one they launched. I really love it. It's a ER50 classic mouthpiece. I love that reed, the mouthpiece, and I try with different reeds. And I try with the synthetic brand, and the mouthpiece wasn't playing. The reed was so soft that was closing,
right?
And it will only work with a Fiberreed reed, because it has such a big consistency and it's has such much spring on it. So it was really a perfect match. So I'm really happy. And and having this when I'm playing, I really love to practice. This is something that I want to pass to my students as well, because if you have a song that you like, and you practice with passion, and with this reed, I can get. We are always searching for our sound.
Sure.
I'm changing mouthpiece in 1 week for sure.
Yeah, and each reed batches differently with the mouthpiece, and then when you finally find the thing that really that you really love and the sound that you really love, then practicing becomes a pleasure rather than a chore.
Yeah, one thing that was really interesting was we were in a festival in Porto, and we gave the reeds to different musicians, kids. They are in the conservatory. They play. Here the level is really high. They were playing really well, and they said, "Oh, I like the reed. It's too soft." And one guy said, "Oh, the reed is okay, but if you can push it a little bit further, make the reed works better." And we decided to. It's really important for classical musicians to label the numbers correctly. Normally they have closed mouthpieces, they bite a lot. So when you have a free blowing reed, you're first thing is like, oh, the reed is too soft because it's a free blowing reed.
Right.
And this is something that we need to think, and we are thinking right now to label the numbers, because what I think is a 3, let's say, comparing to one, I think the biggest brand reeds in the world, Van Doren, I think.
Right.
So if you label like a 3 Van Doren, if you have the same strength, it's going to feel softer for them because it's a free blowing. So we are thinking to put like something in between 3 something, 3.5, maybe 3 something, 3 a little bit harder. I don't know. To have this, maybe to do this small transition, because they have really close mouthpieces. They bite a lot, in my opinion, though.
Okay.
They play very well, though. But and they are used to bite because the reeds are they don't have free blowing reeds.
Right.
And it's really interesting because when I put something that's free blowing, and the thing is, the first impression is everything. So if you put a free blowing reed and you feel it's too soft, your mind's like, this is too soft for me. If they play like 15 minutes, they're going to say, maybe it's not too soft for me right now. Maybe no, because they are adjusting and adapting. This is really interesting. Another thing is really cool that we did is we said, now can you change to your old reed? And nothing comes out after they change. So it's really cool because the reed they have the reed is really easy to play high notes, overtones. High register is really easier comparing to the other reeds I had. It has dark tone, like really the sound is great. And the consistency of the reed is amazing. Projection, this have these qualities that are really, and you can work on it. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, everything you're saying is so much of my experience in helping customers trying to figure out, the idea that the reeds are more free blowing, and even I always have to explain that the measurement for the strength, Harry, told me this is really just they measure at the very tip, but that doesn't tell you anything about the heart and the cut, right? And how much you have here. And if you have a lot of body here, that even though that tip may be very soft, you're going to have a lot more resistance, and it's going to feel harder. You're going to be like, oh, this is a hard reed, but it's not. And so all the numbers, when you see comparison charts between reeds, the numbers are, all over the place between the different brands and the different cuts and so on.
Yeah.
So
you're absolutely right. And even the length of the reed, we took 2 millimeters from the back of the reed, and that changed the reed.
Okay.
Even that. And when you put the ligature, the height of the reed changes. So I think I know more than reeds, and I know more about beer, I think. But now,
I mean that you should. You've another thing I found with the fiber reeds, and I'm not sure. I'd be interested if you have this experience too. Is if this is the mouthpiece, where you position the reed, it's much more sensitive. The fiber reeds are this. I don't know if it goes for all synthetics, but if you pull it back too far, it's going to get dull real quick. Or if it overlaps even just a tiny bit, it has such a big influence on how you can play the reed. Seems to be more sensitive than cane, if I remember correctly. Was that
with this cut it makes difference, but not like in the beginning.
Okay.
Now
interesting.
I can put a little bit. I can move it. I like the way she covers the mouthpiece perfectly. It should work like that. If I put a little bit in the high position, it works a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
but it works like a normal reed.
Interesting.
But but what I like about it is just in this work, this everything started because the need, and my need of having something that, or have a synthetic reed, but with the big sound. And the message I want to send, if someone wants to listen this craziness, is just if you want big sound, if you should try free blowing, and you should try different things. The worst thing can happen, you try your RPL or a different Fiberreed reed, and I don't like it. But if you don't try it, you never know. Because for me, it was like mind blowing when I tried
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I always tell people is like, I can talk to you and tell you things about the reed all day long, but until you put it on your mouthpiece and you actually blow on it, it's all very, very general and not very meaningful. You really have to try it for yourself, because I have people coming to me and telling me exactly the opposite of what I would have, described the reed like. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's how you hear it and feel it. So,
exactly.
So,
yeah.
So that Rodrigo, the reeds are going to be Fiberreed, and they're an artist series. They're going to be called RPL in honor of your name.
It's not my idea though. It was Eric's idea.
No, of course not. But that's what we have to do as when we do an artist series. We give it the name of the artist. We have another one coming out with a guy that another endorser. His name, well, he goes by G-Sax, so that's the name of the reed. But your reed is going to be the RPL Fiberreed, and you're a professor, right? You're a professor of music are you in Lisbon now?
Yeah, I'm teaching in the Superior School of Music in Lisbon.
Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you and contact you, they can do that there.
Yes, or they can. If they have you can check my videos on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm always posting something. Practicing. I like to practice and put some exercises on YouTube. On Instagram and on Facebook, and we did some videos there launching.
Right. Yeah, with Fiberreed too. So
with Fiberreed, but I'm always posting some videos playing on alto, trying to explain something about the reed. But yeah, I think a lot of people are, even my friends in the United States and South America, they ask me a lot about the reed because of the weather, and having a synthetic reed is, I think, going to help those people because they play really well. But now they can do well with a clean mind.
It's a huge thing. I'm in Southern California, and I deal with a lot of people that are in the southwest of America here, of the United States, and it's very dry here. And especially if you're doubling on the instrument, and your saxophone is sitting there for one song, that your cane reed will just warp and or split or whatever, and so it's such a relief not to have to worry about that. So before, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say something. I want to say that I play with different brands of reeds, and they have a lot of good reeds out there. Even synthetic and cane. A lot of brands that they really have great reeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a question of an option. I'm not saying that this is not we say in Portugal, the last Coke in the desert. It's not going to save the world. But it's just a different option. If people want synthetic and with the big sound and dark tone and projection, this is an alternative. It's not. I'm not trying to cure the last disease or something. It's just
it would be nice if you could.
Yeah, it would be great. Nice. Playing with it, read and COVID would disappear.
But we really appreciate the work that you have put into it, and Harry have put into it, and that work does mean something in the end, because it's that love and passion and the design does make a huge difference in the end. It's not just something, thrown out there. It's really, a deep effort. And so that's very much appreciated. I was just going to ask you one, really briefly, maybe as we wrap up. Can you kind of describe a little bit the music scene in Portugal for us? Harry was saying that it's very vibrant. There's many, like you were saying in the beginning, there's many marching bands and football, soccer bands, and so on.
Yeah, we don't have marching band. No, we have. It's different. We have half of the Age of Christ. So we have a lot of tradition of religious parties here. So we have 700 wind bands that they mostly do like religious. And this, you need to come to the country because it's 8 a.m. You have one wind band playing Tchaikovsky, another one playing Shostakovich. Like, it's crazy doing this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that kind of approach, the level is really high. We have a lot. I have a lot of colleagues that I'm really proud because they are really amazing teachers. And the professors here, we have a few universities with really high level, really amazing professors here, classical and jazz. Jazz is really strong in the country. Classical is really strong as well. We are babies because we have the revolution approximately 40 years ago, and of course we have a great musician before that, but now I think we have amazing singers, amazing. I'm thinking about a lot of my colleagues, and there are a lot of great projects, and I'm really proud to be part of it, of this, this community of musicians in the country. But just before I want to say something. Here in the country, we need to support. We support though, but we need to support. When I say we, I'm saying the country. I don't know, the government. I don't know, someone support the wind bands. The wind bands are the heart of the country in music. If they don't, because with the COVID, a lot of bands are disappearing.
Sure.
And without wind bands, we have 300 conservatories, 300, and because of the bands, everything is because of the wind bands. So it's just not for you guys. Just if someone is listening to this, just with power, just we need to support the wind bands, everyone, because they are amazing level, great musicians, great conductors, great music, and they are the heart, they are everything. So I'm really focused in helping the best I can, but everyone should do this. Should help them.
It sounds like, I mean, in Portugal, the society and the, by extension, the government and other people are quite supportive of music and live music, especially, which has become, a challenge all over the world.
The government, I don't know. I don't speak about politics.
No, I mean it that way.
No, but I think we need more. We need more from the government, more support of in arts and theater, music, everything, cinema. We need more. We need more, and we need to understand how it starts. What is the heart of the country in terms of music? And one of the biggest chunk of it is the wind bands. We call it bandas philharmónicas. The name is and we have great military bands, of course, but you need to support the amateur ones. They are the heart. They are the beginning, and they cannot end because it's going to destroy the country. I'm speaking about music, of course.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, I could go on about that, in relationship to other countries and so on, but I'm going to leave it with that and with your plea and with your admonition to keep supporting that in Portugal. I 100% agree, because it's so important to start kids and start them young and give them so much support, and to have that that love for live music, which is waning so much around the world. It's really hard to support a live music operation. Any kind of band is always a challenge to be successful and get enough work so that you can make a living off of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about bands with 50, 60 musicians. Right?
Yeah,
it's just
exactly
like orchestras, wind orchestras.
Yeah,
and yeah, like you said, we need to support the young and the old, and this is a society, and you have like a social. We need to think socially. Like you have, it's really pretty because you have your daughter, is you playing, and your father playing the same wind band. So you have like 3 generations playing the same band, and this is such a unique thing. And this is money cannot buy that. This is is love. That is love. And I think we should continue that. I was lucky because I played for a wind band for like 15, 20 years, and I was really happy. Was not a lot of money, of course, but I was happy being my friends, playing good music, and in the end we are tired, but we did something, we accomplished something. So
right.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, Rodrigo, beautiful. I think on that note, we'll wrap it up. Definitely, let's keep the love alive. The love for music, the love for each other, and the love for the reeds, for a good reed.
Yes.
Makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, I believe so.
So we really appreciate this. Thank you so much, Professor Pires de Lima.
It's hard.
And
thank you, Rodrigo, for sharing that all with us. That's awesome. Great conversation, good talk, all the passion, all the love, all the music. Yeah.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for everything, and hope you guys have a nice week. And I hope to see you here in Lisbon with fresh grilled sardines and beer and wine.
I would love to be there. Portugal has been on my list of places to come and spend some time.
Yes, you should come, play, and eat amazing food and amazing wine and cheese.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much. And
thank you
guys
so much.
Have a good afternoon. Good
Bye-bye.
evening to you.
Okay.
Bye,
Rodrigo.
You have been listening to a podcast presented by Fiberreed. Reeds built to last, providing you consistent precision sound quality you can count on.